What is going on, everybody? We have been having a very rough day in the market. But first off, I want to talk about one that I actually haven't talked about in quite a while, and it has just been continuing to downtrend. Bad news after bad news, and it has just been downtrending ever since. We haven't really had any news on this recently. There was the recall, there was the poor earnings, among other things. And I'm going to get into Workhorse real quick. Now, looking at it, it is just continuing to drop ever since we hit a high of about 17. It has just been downtrending ever since. We did try to find a support here, but it did break it. And things are just continuing to look pretty bad with this one. Technical wise, it is very bearish looking. We are oversold on the RSI, however, on just about all accounts. And if you really zoom out, we're getting very close to before this huge pump with the USPS news. So in my opinion, is Workhorse better off than when they were early 2020? I do think so. But simply put, I would be waiting for this one. I'm going to wait until we actually see a either double bottom and a reversal, or until we get above at least the 10-day, if not the 20-day, and start trending upwards, or get some positive news. We need some positive news on this one. This has just been continuing to drop, but I am holding. But I wouldn't buy now. I'm not trying to buy the dips on this one because it is continuing to fall. It does seem right here was a good juke out. Now I did see back here that we did have a nice support down in the low 7, and it did bounce very quickly. And I believe I bought again right around here because I thought that was the support. You could check my previous videos a while ago where I covered Workhorse, but I believe I did say I was going to buy around here. And it has been downtrending since. Wasn't the best decision, I admit. It is a dropping or a falling knife, and I would wait. But that's just me. I do have my shares on Workhorse, and I will continue to hold. And, if it ends up a loss, it ends up a loss, but I will hold this through. I do still have faith in the company, and they've still made more progress than companies like Nikola, among other companies that have way higher market caps. It's just bad news after bad news that we've recently had that has just been continuing to decimate this one. We had the positive infrastructure news causing this thing to just skyrocket up to a little over 40, and then it dropped once the USPS decision was they're going with Wkhs and not Workhorse. So we did drop. We had decent earnings, which caused it to kind of bounce, but then we had a recall, and it caused it to just drop. The CEO, I believe Steve Burns, resigned or left, and then we replaced him with Rick Dauch. But regardless, this has just been continuing to downtrend, and I want to see some good news first, or at least see a reversal on the charts. And that's just it for Workhorse. So far, this one is a big fat L for me, but I am going to hold in there. Now, next up, Yonics. Definitely bullish on this one, although I would wait for a retracement as well. We are continuing to drop, and it seems like it keeps faking people out. We get a nice little bit of buying pressure, and then it drops further. A little bit of buying pressure, drops further. Although a lot of this drop is due to the variant, is due to the overall market. End of year, people are taking profits and taking losses on stocks. People are seeming to get nervous with the economy. Of course, we've got the poor job numbers, which was the main thing with stocks dropping today. We've got uncertainty in the market. We've got raising interest rates, which won't help a company like Yonics because they are going to need more money, obviously. And yeah, these smaller caps just keep getting decimated. But I would wait to see this retrace. These are all lately have been falling knives, and I would look for a retracement. I did think it was going to find support here at this level and bounce. Sure enough, it didn't. I did start buying this once it dropped under $4 and have been continuing to average in. To me, I am convicted on this one. If you're trying to play it like a swing trade, I would wait. We did break this support here in mid-July of about 280, and it did seem to have a nice support there. It did try to stay over it, but it failed to break the 20-day, and it fell further. And yeah, I mean, it's partially the overall market. Sometimes unforeseen things will happen. The market will overreact, but I see that as a buying opportunity. If you are long-term, I think now is a great time to buy in on Yonics. I think it's oversold, and so does the RSI. We could be another week or two into this drop before we suddenly see things come back up. But I am very optimistic on the long term with Yonics, and on the short term, we could trade sideways, could drop a little bit more. It's anybody's guess. All YouTubers don't have a crystal ball. We can't tell you where the bottom will be. We can just give you our best guess based on technicals, based on PE ratios, price to sales, that kind of thing. And now this support is our resistance, so it does need to break this resistance of 280 and stay above it. And that could be a potential great time to get in my opinion. But let's get to the next stock. And you guys can clearly see the trend that I'm going with. I am looking at all these falling knives that I've recently talked about. And you did see with Bngo, you can't see with Bngo, we did break this support. It seemed like it would try to hold it, but it just broke it. Very, very oversold. Same story with the RSI, oversold, but it is still a falling knife, and I would wait. I would personally wait. You want to see more green come in before making a decision. This could go further down, but don't let an opportunity pass you by. If you are bullish and if you're convicted in stocks like these, it's a great time to buy. However, if you're new to the market, if you're just hopping in whatever stock a YouTuber tells you to buy and not doing your DD, not having conviction in a play, of course, when it drops, you're not going to want to touch it. You see your account continuing to get red, losing money. Why would you want to throw your money into something that's losing? You know, that's the thinking. Why would I throw more money into this stock that's just continuing to lose me money? If it's a good quality stock, that is the wrong way to think. Sure, if it's a penny stock that just keeps downtrending, you know, you maybe bought at the top on a big spike thinking it will go further, and then it just sells off. Yeah, those kinds of stocks are very good stocks to place a stop loss on. Something speculative and risky, yes. But something like Bngo, for me, I am long term on this, and this is my genomics play, and this is literally my only genomics play. But let me know in the comments below what favorite genomics stock you guys have. And yeah, for me, it's definitely Bngo. I really like it. I've had this one for close to a year. I have made profit on it when it ran up into the teens, but I made the mistake of not selling everything. Of course, hindsight is 20/20, but preferably, if you're short term on this, you want to see it turn around and retrace coming back up. You don't want to buy a falling knife if you're short term. If you're long term, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years out, and you believe in the company, now's a great time to buy, in my opinion. Now I've got a couple more I want to show you before I get into CROO and VGX and which one I think is a better buy and why. But let's get into INDY. We did break our ascending trend line here. So that's not good news, but it does look like we may jump over this 200. We may pop right over this 200 and hold, which could be a great sign. I love INDY. I've gone over this one a million times, guys. This is one of my highest conviction semiconductor, if not the highest conviction semiconductor play. They have a fantastic team. We've got Donald McClymont, who is the CEO, who had experience at Skyworks, Cirrus Logic. I'm telling you guys, look at a previous INDY video. I think you will be as much convicted as I am once you look into the actual executive team. And the team is what makes the stock. I do have a lot of faith in the team on this one. And to me, anytime it dips is a buy for INDY. Anytime it dips is a buy. This for me is a long-term hold. I do like to play calls on this one. I like to get out on the rips and buy back in on the dips. And so far it has been working, you know, and that's mainly because it's been uptrending. Okay, if it started downtrending, yeah, that might not be the way to go. It has been continuing to uptrend ever since we were in like the 8s and 9s. And yeah, I love INDY a lot. But let's move on to the next one. And next up is going to be crypto.com coin, or CRO. And I absolutely love this one for the long term. They are the marketing kings right now, and they are going to be taking over the stable center. But you can see here that it did bounce. We are bouncing. We will see if we hold over this 58-cent level. Like I've said, I do like buying it under 70 cents, and I did make a nice little purchase here. And, you know, in the short term, if it does spike over $1, I will definitely take a little bit of profits off the table and secure some gains to potentially buy if it drops. Remember, crypto is volatile. Don't get too attached to a crypto, a stock, especially something volatile. I'm ready to take profits. I'm ready to buy the dips. And that's just one great way to play cryptos. Take advantage of the volatility. But definitely love crypto.com, CROO, where it's at. And it is nice to see that it bounced. Matter of fact, let's zoom out a bit. You'll see that 58 cents where this wick hit was awful close to this resistance. See how this was a resistance? It seems like it might become our support, and we may blast off. I mean, you can see the correlation in the chart. There's a reason we're stopping here and trying to turn back around. This is our previous resistance, which became potentially our support, as you can see here. So it is always great to check out the charts, get an idea of where you're buying and why. Look for that buying pressure to swoop in, and that's when you want to buy, especially if you're short term. And if you're long term, it's a good thing to look for, because then you can try to time the bottom of that certain stock or crypto, although things can change. You know, it's only what the technicals are telling us, and things can always change in the future based on a positive or negative catalyst. But it is a good idea to keep an eye on the technical. Now, before I move on to the VGX coin, I really quickly wanted to show you guys that the Staples Center will be renamed the Crypto.com Arena. And this is supposed to be happening on December 25, when the Lakers actually host the Nets, the Brooklyn Nets. And all the Staples signature signage is expected to be replaced with a new name by June 2022. So yeah, I mean, I can see this pumping into December 25 with potentially a sell-off afterwards, a buy the rumor, sell the news. But we will see. There will probably be a ton of people watching this, getting exposure to crypto.com. And if they were in the market to buy either a Voyager coin, a crypto coin, things of that nature, they might be more inclined to go with crypto.com, just being that it's fresh in their mind if they've seen that marketing. But let's get into VGX now, and this is another one that I actually love. I wanted to get some more, but I'm a little overextended in Voyager, so I did buy crypto.com. And now checking this baby out, it is in the low 4s, and I've said before that I would love to buy more under 4. We do seem to be catching this 200-day, but the RSI is continuing to drop, it seems, and we may retrace. We may just slightly touch on oversold before bouncing higher, but we will see if this holds up. If this 370-ish level, 370, 380 level holds up. But we do have a pretty strong support here, and I kind of doubt that it will drop much more. And you could always look at this and be like, oh, I want to buy back here in the 2s, I want to buy back in the 3s. It might not happen. It might not happen. This may just continue further. I'm very bullish on Voyager, the company. They have got a good team. They've got the E-Trade executives. And I've got a previous video going over all of them, and even one that had experience with Uber marketing and stuff like that. But yeah, Voyager is another one that I love, and I do love taking some profits in the 5s. I do like taking some profits around the $5 range, and you can see it doesn't stay there for very long. So I think it's a decent time to take a little bit of profits off the table and just secure that bag. Now, before I head on out, I did want to show you guys that Voyager, the company, is going to be participating in the following investor events in December. So just this month here. Now we've got December 2nd, D.A. Davidson Virtual FinTech Conference. We've got another one, the OTC Small Cap Growth Virtual Conference, which is for their VYGVF ticker. And then we've got the Keefe, Bruyette, and Woods Innovation and Finance Conference. We've got the B. Riley Securities Crypto Conference. So this is going to be positive press for Voyager. There's another one I really love. I do love holding CRO and VGX. And I've got a previous video comparing the two, going into a little bit more depth of each. But that's basically all I got for you guys. Don't catch a falling knife. Keep an eye on these stocks. Look for a retracement. Look for a bounce over the 10-day, if not the 20-day EMA. And until next time, guys, have a great weekend.